Hello and welcome to the course on Digital Financial Inclusion or Fintech for Inclusion. In this course, we'll talk about what is financial inclusion and how technology can play a role in achieving this goal of financial inclusion. So this course is brought to you by anythingfinance.org, which is a training institute to deliver trainings related to finance and technology. Our other courses in digital finance are number 1, digital payments, card and POS, where we have talked about how does a card payment work, how does a POS machine works, how does settlement happens, how does companies like MasterCard, Visa, or RuPay earn more money or make profits, and then how does a settlement happens once a consumer swipes a card and the acquirer bank acquires that transaction and the issuer bank approves it. So we'll talk about the entire services and processes which gets involved into card and POS machine. We have also talked about PCI DSS here. Next course is on practitioner course on payment gateway and QR code. Here we have talked about what are different models of payment gateway, how does a payment gateway work, how does a QR code based payment work, what are the EMV specifications around the QR code payments and payment gateways. So we have talked about the entire process, and we have also shared some of the negotiation strategies. If you're a product manager or a project manager working in a payment gateway space, you would get to know that how can you negotiate better with an acquirer bank or a payment service provider. And now we have also developed a course on open banking, PSD2 and GDPR. In this course, we have talked about what is open banking, what is PSD2 and GDPR, and how it is going to change the face of entire banking and financial services sector. In open banking, we'll talk about how banks will have to open up their infrastructure. PSD2 is about payment service directives 2, and then on GDPR we are talking about the data protection policies, which if not now, in future almost all the countries will have to, otherwise there will be data protection and privacy issues in the country. And then we are developing all other courses around digital finance, so we'll keep you updated once we start with the course. So first, now let's understand that what are we going to cover in this course. So in this course, we will start with an overview of financial inclusion. We will talk about what is the definition of financial inclusion, because for every country, region, the definition will change depending on what kind of growth path you are on. If you are a developed economy, your definition of financial inclusion will be different. If you are a developing economy, your financial inclusion definition might be different because you want to cater to a different segment of society in that country. Then we will talk about SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, and G20 principles on digital finance. Then we'll talk about what are the reasons and types of exclusion. It is important to understand, otherwise we will not be able to attack the correct problem and to get a proper benefit with our financial inclusion initiatives. And then we'll talk about what are 3 A's of inclusion, and then we will explore what are the pillars of inclusion, because once we understand the pillars, we will be able to strengthen those after giving certain inputs through different initiatives. Then we will talk about identity, saving, credit, insurance, remittance and payment, which are considered to be pillars of inclusion. Or if we cater to these things broadly, there are multiple other things as well, like behavioral aspect, trust and all other things, but these are considered to be more kind of a pillars of inclusion. We'll talk about Aadhaar, which is a biometric ecosystem for India, and then we'll talk about e-Estonia, which is again an electronic system by Estonia. We will explore that what is microfinance, what is self-help group, and what is joint liability group concept in microfinance. Then we will talk about how can we measure financial inclusion, because what cannot be measured cannot be improved. Hence, it is important to develop right KPIs to identify whether our initiatives are on the right track or not. And then we'll talk about regulatory sandbox, that how a regulatory sandbox will help to drive innovation, technological innovation in the ecosystem of that country. And then we'll also touch upon the regulator's role in advancing financial inclusion in that country. So those are different course contents. I'm already excited to see you in the course. So with that disclaimer, let's get started, and thank you so much for choosing this course. So thank you and take care.